Hey everybody, this is Anton here, and I'm live on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Decided to go and try a new platform out. I'm trying this Lula TV out. Just wanted to see what it's like and see if we can interact with some people out there. Hey Matt, good to see you. Hope everything's going okay for you, buddy. Hopefully you're able to teach some live classes. Hey, see another individual joining in from Instagram. Good to see you. I'm here to answer basically any questions that you might have as it relates to training, sport training, general health and wellness. I'm obviously we're in tough times here, and we're trying to do a number of different things. Uh, Good to see you, Matt. No, there's a couple of different things that are going on in terms of training that we are struggling with in terms of being able to see our clients and doing the things that we normally do. The good thing is technology enables us to do so much. So if you can be in a position where you have access to a computer or access to a mobile phone, there are definitely a ton of different things that you can do. One of the biggest things that I want to do here is provide you guys with a platform where you can ask questions, get some questions answered. Maybe on the professional side, some of you guys that are gym owners and that sort of thing, things that you can do to keep your revenue generating and be in a situation where you can keep the dollars coming in. Because I know a lot of us out there are in a position where we don't have that platform anymore in terms of our facilities, physical facilities to do training, but we have access to other things like maybe a home gym, or we can gain access to our fitness facility, but now are in a position where we can only teach classes remotely. So here to answer any questions and to talk to you guys about different things that can be done. It's good to see all you guys coming out. It's a completely different format. There's a little bit of lag. Let me know how the quality is as well, because I've got a delay on my side. So if I don't answer a question right away, or if I don't get to something right away, just pop it into the chat, and then hopefully I'll be able to answer some of your questions. So that being said, for you guys that are out there training, or are you finding that you're lacking some of the things that you need to do in terms of strength conditioning? Maybe you're missing some equipment or that sort of thing. I can provide you with a couple different alternatives if you want to affect some type of change. For example, one of the biggest things. Hey, Mike, good seeing you. One of the biggest things that I'm in a position where I'm doing is with my clients. I'm lucky enough to have a full home gym here behind me. I've got all the weights, I've got the TRXs, I've got trap bars and everything else at home. But most of you guys aren't going to be in that situation. So if you're not in that situation, what you want to do is find something that's a little bit more weight bearing. So being in a position where you can, for example, do bicep curls with. One of the things that I have behind me, just over here, you can see it in the far corner, is a couple of laundry containers filled with water. That way, if people are utilizing or needing to utilize some type of dumbbells, they can use it on either side and do your bicep curls and that sort of thing. One of the things I was talking about with my wife today is the fact that at grocery stores they sell 10 kilo bags and 20 kilo bags of rice. You can utilize that as almost like a weighted bag and do your squats, your deadlifts, your overhead presses with, that sort of thing. There's a ton of different things that you can do in order to affect change. Hey Trav, hope you've been working out. Good seeing you. One of the other things that you can do, obviously we possess one of the best pieces of weight known to man, and that's our body weight. So if you can be in a position where you are utilizing your body weight in order to affect change, your push-ups, sit-ups, all that sort of thing. Mike has a question. What about upper body WB strengthening without weight? So, as I was mentioning with upper body strength training and what have you, one of the things that I just suggested was lifting multiple kilo rice bags to do overhead presses and bent over rows. Okay, so weight bearing, WB, perfect. So your push-ups, your sit-ups, your shoulder touches when you're in a push-up position. There's a couple of different exercises that I can demonstrate for sure. Hey Bree, good seeing you. Hope you're staying safe up in Edmonton. So the biggest thing though, guys, is being in a position where you're utilizing some type of movement in order to continue your training. Whether it's 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever it is. But at the same time, you need to have some basic overload. So if you're in a position where you can manipulate the frequency, the intensity, the time, or type of the exercise, it'll make a huge difference. Now, that being said, one of the biggest things that I want you guys to do is make sure that you're in a position where you're also not just going out and doing every single body weight workout or every single just workout that you possibly can do in order to try to maintain your goals. Be smart about how you plan and put things together. Like I said, there's a couple of different things that you can do in order to increase the amount of weight that you're utilizing. So say for example, if I'm in a position where I am needing to work on my muscular endurance, obviously I'm going to be doing a little bit more body weight oriented work. But if I want to improve my strength, my power, I've got to increase the load and I've got to increase the amount of weight that I'm using. So if you can be in a position where you're utilizing maybe, like I said, a heavier bag, for example, bags of sand, some of the sandbags that you can get at a gas station, that sort of thing, that will give you, for the most part, a little bit more weight that you can utilize as part of your movements. Now, one of the biggest things that I also want individuals to remember is that you can do different activities that you normally aren't accustomed to doing. You just have to make sure that you're physically ready to go and physically ready to do those activities. So maybe things like anaerobic conditioning, getting in and playing around with the intensity of your workout, doing some interval training, so that you're integrating strength training as part of and a conditioning workout as part and parcel of all the things that you're trying to do. Being in a position where you're also watching your diet, because one of the biggest things that I'm noticing right now, at least for me and my family, because we've been at home for the last week or so, we're now eating a little bit more and everything else, and people are talking about gaining that COVID 15 or 25, and it can be a real problem. So you want to make sure that you keep your eating in check as well. One of the other things that I wanted to talk to you guys about, more specifically with the sport training, if you're in a position where you're doing your physical activity, you're doing your jumps and your plyometric training, make sure you watch the surface that you're doing it on. A lot of times individuals will continue to do their jumps and what have you. They'll go into their basement or that sort of thing, and the cement doesn't have that shock absorption that you would normally see on a gym floor or what have you in terms of the environment. So you want to be wary of those knees, wary of those hips, and making sure that you're not doing any more damage than you should in terms of your strength conditioning. Mobility is a big issue as well. That you're taking the time working on your strength, your flexibility, your mobility, and it's something that you have to work at, just as important as the conditioning, just as important as the strength training. Mobility takes time, so taking anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes out of your day and just working on that stretching and being in a position where you're working on your range of motion. No, thanks, Mike, about the surfaces. It's a real big problem that I'm seeing. You see people in their basements jumping up and down and doing a whole bunch of different things. Then all of a sudden, their ankles, knees, and hips are starting to hurt for sure. Now, is there any topics or questions that you guys want me to answer, or you want me to talk about, or any questions about what you guys can do as it relates to your own training that that I can help you out with or anything like that. And let me know on the feed how the video is coming through. If it's coming through fairly clear, or do I need to adjust anything? I know my lights over here are a little bit bright, but oh well, we'll adjust that later, maybe on another live chat. It's my first time doing this, so bear with me. Come on, guys. There's got to be some questions out there. Little lag? Okay. I know it's lagging on my end over here as well. I need to be plugged in, I think. I'm on my Wi-Fi, unfortunately. So what about you fitness professionals out there? I know Matt, Mike, you guys, Matt, you run your various facilities. Mike, you've got your PT practice. How are you guys finding things? Are you being in a position where... Okay, Mike says, what alternate surfaces can you use for plyos? One of the biggest things, if you can maybe even clear out some space in your backyard, on your deck, something that has a little bit of give to it. The biggest thing is, obviously, you're not going to be in a situation where you're going to be able to do have a sprung-loaded floor or anything like that, but something that you have a little bit of give. I even one of the things that I do with my plyometric training is I have a mat here on the floor that is about 1 inch, 2 inches thick, so it has a little bit of shock absorption, and that seems to help me out in terms of my knees. I'm an old man, so with all the training that I've done over the years and everything else, I need to make sure that I'm wary of my joints for sure. Anybody else, guys? Questions? I love this format, though, to be able to connect to people and everything else. I'm trying a new streaming service, so seeing how it goes. Now, that being said, everybody, what about you football players out there? Do you have any questions regarding how to train or what's going on as it relates to the football season and everything else? I'm also the general manager of the Calgary Colts, and we had our league meetings last week via Zoom video conferencing, and we're talking about looking at June in terms of our first potential opportunity to get back into a group environment and play and that sort of thing. So that being said, I assume that most sports aren't looking into anything before June 1st. At least for our league, that's what we're looking at doing. So unfortunately, those individuals that are in spring sports, it might be a little while till we get back into some type of normalcy. But the whole idea, though, is to try to be as safe as possible. That's hopefully the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we might have to push it back a little bit. So unfortunately, that might be the case with all of us, football players, soccer players, hockey, all that good stuff. Any questions, guys? Everybody's so shy. Well, I love the fact that people are joining here, there, and everywhere. What I'm going to start doing... Oh, Brianna, any tips on some healthy but filling snacks? Being at home all the time has made snacks more accessible, so trying to keep them healthy. Well, good question, Brianna. One of the things that I would suggest is being in a position where, first, when you go and do your grocery shopping, don't buy some of the treats that you necessarily want to buy. My son is actually doing a ton of baking right now, and so all of a sudden we're trying a whole bunch of different things. And one of the things that my wife and I were talking about is maybe slowing it down and just being in a situation where we only have a treat night maybe once or twice a week. The biggest thing is obviously get something filling, being in a situation where you are able to put some food and eat on a regular basis. So schedule, like everything else, you want to schedule your times that you eat. I recommend anywhere from 4 to 6 times a day. Any way to bulk in a time like this, finding it's difficult, no weights, no racks at home. Thanks, Anton. Appreciate it. No worries. I mentioned it earlier as part of the conversation. The biggest thing is getting some weight in your hands. So there's a lot of different things. If you don't have any weights or anything, you can utilize like a sandbag, big bags of rice, that sort of thing. Anything that can give you a little bit more weight so that you can hold in your hands. And then you can go through the specific ranges of motion. So like, for example, one of the exercises that you can do is a Zercher squat. Let me see if I can get back here. So you're basically holding the bag of rice here, and then you're doing a full squat down, and then a full squat back up as part of that range of motion. And you're trying to keep your back and your stomach nice and tight, and you're just holding the bag just like so, and going down, back up. You can also do overhead presses with the bag going up and then back down. But the biggest thing is making sure that the weight is a little bit heavier so that you're actually getting something out of the exercise. Good to see some of you guys joining. One of the biggest things though, guys, is consistency. So if you're in a position where you need a little bit more weight, I would suggest being in a position where, like I said, you add a couple different bags so that you're in a position where you can hold on to what you need to. Now, one of the biggest things, guys, is like I said, consistency. So schedule everything that you possibly can in your day-to-day so that you're in a position where you have a regular routine. Over the last week, it's been a struggle for me in terms of figuring out what my routine is and what I need to do in terms of my new normal. So I've been really trying to document the things that I need to do throughout the day, and then scheduling that so that I'm in a position where I'm able to have some type of consistency throughout my day. Because the first couple of days, things just went by like that, and then all of a sudden I realized it was the end of the day and I didn't get anything accomplished. So now that I'm in a position where I'm working from home, I'm having to schedule myself with things that I need to do throughout the day in order to be consistent, including my training, including putting out videos and all that sort of thing. Any thoughts? Mike says, any thoughts on how to prevent injuries while we are trying new exercises in a new environment? Great question, Mike. One of the biggest things that I would recommend is to try the exercise without any type of weight or as little weight as possible, so that you're in a position where it's not weight bearing, you're not putting too much stress on the body. Learn the movement, learn the ranges of motion, utilize visual cues like a mirror, and or train in groups. Train in with your spouse or with your brother or your sister so that they can watch your form and technique. But the biggest thing is making sure you're going slow through that range of motion, good posture, good technique, and try to mirror. One of the things that I've done is I've actually set up a Strive online classes group on Facebook, and it's actually free of charge. I've put out different workouts every day with actually a different playlist from Spotify that you can follow. But to be in a situation where you're consistently doing some type of physical activity on a day-to-day basis, because I'm finding that a lot of our clients are in a position where they're still wanting that interaction, and they're wanting to be in a position where they are a part of a group and a part of a following. So we've put together our Strive online classes group, and you just go to Facebook/groups/Strive online classes, and like I said, it's free of charge, and I'll set you up on that. We're also online at the with our online training center, and that training center is training.com/ training.strivefitness.ca, and that provides individuals with 2 weeks free online training as well. And I've got a ton of information regarding nutrition, all that good stuff as well. But no, it's a ton of different things going on. Hey Nikki, hey Chase, good seeing you, buddies. I hope that you're following our online training. If you're not, like I said, for our athletes, I've got a whole athletic series up there for online training, and like I said, it's free of charge for 2 weeks. So you need to go on there. Hopefully, some of you guys have access to a gym, that sort of thing, at home. I've got it. Like I said, I've got a full weight setup and everything else here at home. I'm pretty lucky to be able to do that. But if you do have a weight setup, I've got a full weight program there on our training.strivefitness.ca page. So any other questions, guys? There's a number of you guys online. I love it. Good seeing you, Andrew. Hope the family's good. So one of the biggest things that I should mention is that I've actually struggled a little bit with making sure that I'm consistent with my day-to-day as well. As I mentioned before, I'm having to try to schedule as many different things as I possibly can. So if I can be in a position where I'm working with a list on a day-to-day basis of the things that I need to do, it'll make sure that your day doesn't just zoom right by. And one of the biggest struggles with that is that you don't want to end up having a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks go by and you're not doing the things that you need to do in order to stay consistent. This isn't going to last forever, so you want to be in a position where you come out the other side bigger, stronger, faster. Take this as an opportunity to reset. Take this as an opportunity to to reconnect with your friends, your family, and the things that are important. Maybe reconnecting with your fitness as well. Call it the 3 F's. Maybe the 4 F's with your faith as well. But do those things, and it'll give you the consistency that you need in order to cope and deal with some of the challenges that we have. That being said, if there are any athletes out there that I see or that I don't see that are in a position where they're wanting to talk, they need some guidance as it relates to their training or anything like that, I'm here online. Send me a private message on Instagram or on Facebook or on Twitter, and then I'll get back to you right away with any thoughts that I have or ways that you can improve your overall health and wellness, your fitness, and that sort of thing. Are there any other questions, guys? No, this is a great format. I think I'm going to be utilizing this format as much as possible moving forward. Definitely, if you have any questions or anything like that, definitely feel free to ask, and hopefully I'll be able to address some of your questions and your concerns. Okay? But that's it for now. I'm going to sign off. Thank you for coming to my first online chat. And I think I'm going to do this on a regular basis at 11:30 on Monday through Friday. That way I have weekend time available for the family. But we'll talk to you soon, guys. Stay safe and stay fit out there.